long, action-packed, and entertainment-filled year of an NBA season. The NBA Finals are now officially upon us, and on June 6th, in just a couple of days, a matchup between the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics, which is a finals matchup that I think is going to be extremely exciting and extremely fun to watch as we go through it. And today I'm just going to be breaking down and analyzing just what you should expect going into this series as a viewer. But without further ado, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get right into it. So initially looking at both teams, the most obvious things that pop out is the storyline between Kyrie Irving being a former Boston Celtic and him having a flame out with that whole organization and fan base, and just the whole, kind of disdain that those two parties have for each other. And also the storyline of just the young and up and comer who is dominating right now, who is Luka Doncic, and also the two guys on the Boston Celtics and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who throughout continuous just attempt after attempt after attempt, it feels inevitable that their time has to be now, if not ever. It has to be now, and that they're just eventually due for a championship. But looking past some of the storylines and narratives, I think just schematically and just analytically, this is going to be an extremely fun and suspense-filled series, and it's going to be a real chess match between Joe Mazzulla and Jason Kidd. So first off, I'm going to be looking at the Dallas Mavericks side of things and just what can you expect out of them schematically, offensively, and defensively. So the real story of the Dallas Mavericks this year has really been what they've been able to do post-trade deadline, and just how they've been able to re-up and revitalize that group, and bringing in key guys such as Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington, and just those two guys specifically, how they have been able to elevate that team in terms of just defensively and offensively as well, and just how they've been able to just really set this team up for success, and which has shown as they've made it all the way to the NBA Finals. And just retrospectively looking at what they've been able to do well and what they've been able to accomplish and have success on schematically throughout this entire postseason run, in my opinion, which in my opinion has just been their high and intense level of rim pressure and dribble penetration. And that is something that I extremely feel is what they need to harp on and just continuously attack, which is their rim pressure and paint penetration throughout the entirety of the series. One reason why I feel that they have to do that is because when you look at just the roster and rotation currently of the Boston Celtics, which is me assuming that Kristaps Porzingis is just not going to play, and Luke Kornet, I still don't think he is going to play too much in that series, if at all. Just looking at how they match up with the Celtics without Kristaps Porzingis in the picture, I think they can exclusively attack and exploit their just back line of rim protection. Because as we all know, once guys like Luka and Kyrie get downhill, you have to send help, you have to double, you have to help off, and once you do that, that leads up for these big PJ Washington games to where he's hitting a whole bunch of threes off of catch and shoot corner threes, or when you get in these extremely exciting Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford and Derrick Rose Jr. just intense and crazy lobs. And like I said, just outside of Kyrie and Luka, because those are guys who are inevitably going to get theirs and get off at some point. But just looking at those exclusive spots and exclusive points of attacks, such as that dunker spot, such as the corner threes on both sides, I think as long as the Mavericks continue to attack and attempt to exploit that, especially without Kristaps Porzingis in the lineup, I think that is going to severely put pressure on the Boston Celtics defense, and I think that could set the Dallas Mavericks up for a lot of success. And just looking at them defensively, after the trade deadline, the Dallas Mavericks have been one of the better defensive teams throughout the entire league with their added additions, and I think just with the continuous elevation and high level of play from Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, and Derrick Jones Jr., that main front court of the guys who are doing that dirty work. Like I said, without Kristaps Porzingis, I think that they can be able to extremely exploit not only the offensive glass but also the defensive glass and try to eliminate second chance points. And I think as long as Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively and those guys play extremely high level in their role and outplay the Boston Celtics in that role, which is dominating that dunker spot, getting rebounds, protecting the ball down low, being smart, not getting in foul trouble. I think if those guys do well in those spots and continue to do what they've been doing, I think that is something that the Dallas Mavericks are going to extremely benefit from and put them in the best position possible to come out and win the Larry O'Brien. And just to go back to the Western Conference Finals to back up my point, one of the main reasons why I feel the Dallas Mavericks had so much success and just was able to, between the margins and down the stretch, pull out those wins against the Minnesota Timberwolves. In my opinion, I think the front court of the Dallas Mavericks just extremely outplayed and just outworked the front court of the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think guys like Derek Lively, Derek Jones Jr., I think Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively outplayed Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert down the stretch of all those games, and that is why the Dallas Mavericks was able to hold on and just continuously pull out those wins. And real quick, just looking at the storyline and narrative side of things, I think this is going to be huge. If they can manage to pull out and win this NBA championship, I think this would be huge for obviously just winning the championship in its own right is huge, but what it'll do to Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving and just how it'll be able to enhance, their legacy and their storyline within the league as they continue to be great players in this league. I think this is going to severely enhance what they already are, and it's going to be extremely fun to just see, those guys, win the championship. In Kyrie's case, win a second championship, and in Luka's case, get his first. But before we move on to the Boston Celtics side of things, let me know down below, what are your predictions for Kyrie Irving? How many points, rebounds, and assists do you think he'll average? Give me his predicted stat line throughout the whole entire course of the series, and who you got winning. Let me know down below. But now moving on to the Boston Celtics side of things, looking at them offensively and defensively. First, offensively, I think the Boston Celtics, I think you can expect really a lot, specifically with Joe Mazzulla. I think you can kind of already know just what they're going to run, which is going to be a lot of pick and switch basketball and just trying to get the mismatch, play ISO, and get dribble penetration and either win your matchup or force help rotation and kick it out for an open three, and then play off their defense, get turnovers and get out in transition. And that's how they go on their big runs, and that's how they really just dominate teams throughout the whole entire course of this year. But I do think that this is going to have to be a big series from Jason Tatum and also Jaylen Brown. I think it's going to be extremely pivotal that their stars play at a high level and, in a sense, match what Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic are going to put out, because those two guys are, like I said, are obviously going to perform and put up numbers. But Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to have to, be dominant and be extremely effective and efficient, in my opinion. And just looking at their whole entire lineup, I think you can kind of expect them to, like I said, when they play that pick and switch basketball offensively, they're going to, a lot of the times, I think for a majority of their possessions, they're going to attack Luka Doncic. They're going to put Luka Doncic in a lot of ISO scenarios. They're going to put Luka Doncic in a lot of pick and roll situations and force Luka Doncic to be aggressive, to be attentive, and to play good defense. And obviously, we know the effects of that, how that can wear down a player, how that can, affect him offensively with just his stamina and just how well he's able to perform. But, Luka Doncic, obviously he has his moments where he plays decent defense, but Luka Doncic, you could argue, is going to be the worst defender on the court. So expect them to exclusively and predominantly attack Luka Doncic on the offensive end. But looking at them defensively, I think the Celtics are going to have to try to attempt to not get put in so many help situations. Reason why is because, like I said, with the Dallas Mavericks, that is something that they want you to do. That is something that they need you to do. Well, not need, but that is something that they really want you to do as defense, as an opposing defense, which is help off the shooters, double Kyrie, double Luka Doncic, and allow those guys who are pretty good to great passes to find the open man. So if you're the Celtics defensively, I think you can expect Jrue Holiday and Derek White to guard Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. But again, they have to try to limit as much as they can on how much they're forced into help situations, because you do not want, a guy like PJ Washington killing you for 15 to 20 points off of help catch and shoot threes, or having Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively just getting continuous, lobs and drop off passes from the dunker spot and things of that nature. You just do not want that to happen, because that is going to severely help the Dallas Mavericks, but that's going to inevitably wear down your defense. And finally, looking at the storyline part for the Celtics, I think the only storyline for this whole entire scenario with the Celtics is win. If not now, win. Because we all know any questions surrounding Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Those are two all NBA level guys. Those are guys who are one of the best, some of the best players in the league. You know, top 15 best players in the league. So any other questions surrounding Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, in my opinion, has either already been answered or it's just already been deemed kind of irrelevant just on because where they're at. Because right now, as fans and as viewers, the only thing we're expecting out of those two is just to win a championship. We don't care. We've seen what you can do, you know, throughout the regular season. We've seen that you can play well. We've seen that you can perform at a high level, be one of the top 10, 15 best players in the world. Just when are you going to win? And I think if not now, win, because if you don't win this year, there's going to be another wasted year of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, another wasted opportunity to where you should have won. You should have capitalized. You have the better team. You have an elite team. Your manager has invested all these assets and money into you and into your development and into this construction of a team. So just win. When are you going to win if not now? But that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to let me know what are your finals predictions, and also, you know, who do you feel is going to win finals MVP and, you know, play the best throughout the whole entire series. Is it going to be Luka Doncic? Is it going to be Jason Tatum? Could it be Kyrie Irving? Could it be Jaylen Brown? You let me know. But thank you guys for watching. Peace out.